What's up? It's your boy Reemus, and in this video we're going to be going through things that we can learn or have learned from this book called Corona False Alarm. It's important to read stuff like this because, of course, you know, you're going to be lied to in the media, or at least only showed some pieces of information that are biased. So I read this book in order to gain a better understanding of the coronavirus situation and the lockdowns and all of that stuff. So we're going to go through the notes now. The book begins by letting you know about the history of the virus. So question, did you know there were other forms of it since 2003 as outbreaks? So it's not just a new thing. So chapter 1 then goes on to say the issues with how organizations went about the reliability of testing and how the nature of testing encouraged panic where it could have been prevented, it could have been avoided. For example, there were areas in which there were high breakout rates. However, the level of testing at first didn't parallel to the outbreak rate. It should have been more testing in those areas. It also addresses how in Europe, most corona deaths were not actually because of the virus, like as it being a cause of death, and that deaths where corona was suspected were counted as corona deaths. So one thing I didn't really know was that if you die from corona a year later after you've caught it, you still get listed as a corona death. And all of this stuff helps to push up the numbers and the rates, which this book would argue is used by the media to fan the flames of panic. So it talks about the fact that the virus has a similar fatality rate with the flu. Again, so when we look at the need for urgency and the need to have such panic, doesn't make sense because this doesn't happen with the flu. This book gives you a true sense of the context behind those popular notions that you've already heard. So, for example, we could talk about the death rates in a particular area, but when you hear the death rates, it doesn't necessarily, like the media won't necessarily tell you the context behind those death rates. So, for example, when Italy was one of the first countries, I believe, in Europe to have the outbreaks. But what they don't tell you with the morbidity rates is that it actually makes some sort of sense because of the aging population of Italy, the defunding of hospital care, and the over-testing on dead patients versus potentially affected. And also it talks about how the burning of bodies ordered by government needed military assistance and further created panic. So all of these things that like the reason and the context behind the things that you initially see. So I found that interesting. We also learn about in the fact that the UK, there was a lack of foreign aid because of Brexit and an already overstretched NHS. Or in the US, the World Health Organization recommended a substance that 33% of Hispanics were intolerant of. And the Bronx had one of the highest rates of fatalities, which held half of the Bronx population. So the reason why that's important, of course, is because if you're being told death rates about a specific group like, you know, the Hispanics, and then you're not told that they were given substances which were actually bad for their particular gene type, then you're getting a messed up perception of where it is. So that's what I'll say I learned in this book. But it makes a case to argue that the social and economic downfall affected more people in the end than people who were affected by the virus. So it's the argument of, does the virus make sense if with all the other problems that happen because of the lockdowns and all of this stuff and closure of businesses, does it make sense if the problems, the amount of people affected by those things is more than the actual virus itself? So I found the book, in conclusion, I'll say I found the book pretty interesting, and I definitely recommend people to read stuff like this so you're not just manipulated by people's opinions and their personal thoughts. You actually get to the facts so that you can help make your own judgments. So I'll see you in another book review. Peace.